Money, right? Money. And a lot of times they will get that money through, begging, borrowing, stealing, killing. But then they'll have to take that plunge. They'll have to take that plunge and just start invest. And they are in the valley of death. That's when you ran with credit cards and you bought everything you need, and now what do you need to do? What do you need to do once you make that investment?
Sales.
Right. Well, that's a really smart answer. Sell. Yeah, sell. You need to sell. You need to generate revenue or gain more investments. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Everybody's going to come up today is going to talk to you a little bit about their experience in the valley of death. So again, my name is Aubrey Agee. I work with the Blackstone Launchpad. I am the Senior Program Administrator. We help students start companies here. Our Executive Director is Bill Volz, who's right here. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Associate Vice President, Ahmad Ezzedine, over Outreach. Just a little bit about our program. We've been running for about 3 years. And the one thing we always want to do is not just kind of give the students tools to improve their business ideas and figure out how to launch. We also want to hear from them. We want to hear from them as to what they want us to give them. We want to know what our customers need. And I was really privileged that the guys from M Square, JJ Sinek, Marcus Perez, and Max, how do you say last name? Ermkov. Russian. Ermkov. Came up with this idea. So a lot of our events are always an idea from the students. So we like to listen to our customers. All right. So first up, we're going to have Dominic Holmes, the Executive Director of Pay It Forward Initiative, a nonprofit. One of our first students. Very proud of him.
So, I want to thank you all for having me here. My name is Don Holmes, as you heard, and I am a Wayne State graduate, Executive Director of Pay It Forward Initiative, which was started by my fellow student and colleague, Charlie Cavell, in 2010. We are a workforce development and community development organization based here in the city of Detroit. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that are really positive moments in our short history, and some of the things that kind of led to some rough times, which we've kind of recovered from. One of the most positive things that happened to us was some great funders. We had people like Knight Foundation and MEDC, the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan, who really helped us to propel our workforce development programs forward. Those are some of the most defining and most treasured moments in our organization's short history. Some of the things that happened that we didn't like so much were, the end of our MEDC funding, which was a big negative in our short history. We had a 5-figure contract, a very nice contract which afforded us the ability to do some nice workforce development work in the city of Detroit and numerous communities. And at some point in time, there was, this realization that, they wanted to go with some of the bigger players, some of the more established organizations, because there was, room for efficiencies, and it worked out better for them. So our pivot was to, build out our community development work, which really allowed us to engage a younger population, a population of people ages 13 to 18, to really work with, those organizations and those individuals before they reached that 18-year-old threshold where they were kind of set in their ways. And doing this, we were able to reach out to members of the business community and get some investment from business owners, and also work with private donors, which has really, really helped our organization blossom and really spread the word about the work that we're doing in the city of Detroit. I really think that these lessons that we learned over the last 2 years, 3 years have really helped us to blossom. And I really can't say enough about what a pivot can mean to the business and the organization as a whole. So that's just something I wanted to share with you, and I hope it was meaningful, and I hope it was impactful. If you want to see me afterwards, please come by.
Tito, come up here. Tito is part of a IT company. They've been doing this for a long time for bigger companies, but now they've been doing it a couple of years with on their own. Right.
on software. And what we did was we merged both of those components together. Pretty much thinking about it like this, that you have a program that can run on your computer 24/7, and as it diagnoses different problems, it automatically fixes your PC right there to start. There's no use of you open up a ticket or anything of that nature at all. You'll actually receive a call from one of our dispatchers from Help Desk, and they'll call you and tell you that we noticed that you're having a problem, Mr. Smith, and we'll go from there. So, when we came to the Launchpad was really one of the I would say a changing moment in our lives. I had a successful video company, but at the same time, when we talk about making things scalable, we just couldn't make it happen. My partner, Brian Royster, had an IT refurbished company, but the problem was with both of these ideas, they were not scalable. And so they were not going to allow us to be able to make that next phase, to make that next jump. And so when we finally came together to the Launchpad, I would say that one of the things that they first stood out, they allowed us to be intellectual honesty. And what I mean by that is that for the first time, it wasn't so much about what I wanted to give customers. It was more or less, what does the customer want? Many of us can actually build programs, have ideas, and we tell everybody. I tell my wife what I want to do, and that's a challenge right there. But there's so many times, that's one of the things that kind of says that we don't know what our customer wants. We think we know, but we really don't. And the Launchpad as a whole has kept us really honest with constantly surveying. So maybe around about last year, we actually run some of our first seed money. It was phenomenal. We got this money, we were ready to go. And even with myself, I'm always trying to find different ways in order to cut costs. And believe it or not, we were able to cut costs. We found some different organizations, they wanted to build a program for over $60,000. That wasn't good enough. We talked to Aubrey and the Launchpad, and we got to some numbers of maybe $3,000 for the program. But that still was not selling with me. And like I said, one of the things that the Launchpad has told me to do is keep on looking and keep on nicking away at that stone. And we found out that we were able to get the program in some other kind of ways for $1,500. And so this is the first moment that we're really entering into the Valley of Death. The program is built, the customers are in our database. It's time for us to take the next step. And so this is one of the most challenging things. When you have a program, you invest so much into it, now it's time to go into what we call sales and marketing. And to get out there on the streets, and get out there and interact and network with so many different people in order to get the product off the ground. Everything else was really about planning, but now it's really where we have to put our wheels to the road. And I think that that's been one of the challenges that Aubrey has really helped us not to procrastinate. Because with you, you'll always want to just dial it back some. Let me look at this again. Let me add an extra plug in. Let me add an extra little flashy lights or something like that. And then we'll move on from there. But that's who we are, and we're thankful for what the Launchpad has brought.
We're going to bring up a blue team. So I am not kidding. Stuff's outside.
Hello, thank you for having me today. And my name is Eli, or Eli Sujit, and my company is Eli Tea. With my company, I can say that I think I started off in the Valley of Death. I sell a product that is behind water. Tea is the most popular beverage everywhere in the world except the United States. Here in the United States, it's an uphill battle, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. I love tea, and I want to have the American public love tea as much as I love tea. And what this has meant for me is working to define what is the American tea identity. What do Americans want out of tea? 85% of tea consumed in the United States is iced. With that, I push many of my products I push them to be flavorful ice blends, which is what I have outside for you to try. Again, going on the American identity and American style tea, I try to create products that people can relate to. The product I have outside is called my Traverse City Cherry Festival tea. It is my #1 selling product. It's lively, it's fruity, you can identify with it, you can point to Traverse City, it's yeah, starting in the Valley of Death and working my way up is quite daunting. but I am making headway, and the Blackstone Launchpad has been quite helpful for me to work on editing my financial projections, editing and targeting my markets, focusing on restaurants, coffee, teas, going beyond pricing out, just going beyond selling one cup at a time, but focusing on how could I even sell to a larger distribution network, how could I sell to a chain of stores. And that's why I wrote the Blackstone Launchpad. And thank you for having me today.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, my name is JJ Shinnick. I'm responsible for all the business development activities of M Squared Financial. So if you've got an email that featured M Squared Financial, it probably originated from me. After you deleted it the first time, I probably sent you another one. And after you deleted it the second time, I probably sent you a third. I graduated from right here at Wayne State University. I have undergraduate and master's degrees in accounting, and I'm currently pursuing my CPA designation. Thankfully, I have a mic. I just got my wisdom teeth pulled a few days ago, so I was kind of battling with the fact that I was going to have to project really loud, but it's good that you guys can hear me. With me on stage here are my fellow business partners, Max Ermakoff and Marcus Perez. Max and I had the wonderful opportunity of attending Wayne State University together, shared many classes, accounting and finance, and this, that, and the other, became great friends. Max holds an undergraduate degree in finance from Wayne. And Marcus, in our own individual respective career pursuits, came across Marcus, great friend, great guy, and eventually became business partners. And Marcus holds an undergraduate degree in finance from the University of Notre Dame. So today, I'm going to pass the mic over to Max and Marcus. They're going to talk about what it is M Squared Financial does, the value that we bring to our clients, and also briefly elaborate on some of the financial struggles and challenges we faced in our first year of operations.
I've done some small business consulting, and in doing this small business consulting, we realized that the companies needed not only the ad hoc financial analysis we were providing, but also day-to-day controller's office type functions. And many small businesses can't afford, nor do they need to have a full-time controller or accounting staff. So we realized that we could utilize economies of scale by providing this service to multiple companies. And in doing so, we could do it through a blend of equity, of fees, and make it available to all small businesses. In doing so, we realized that we also would have to operate remotely from the sites, from our clients' main operations. So to prove our business case, we signed our first client in Florida, and Max will walk us through our growth after signing the first client and towards the financial value of that.
Thank you, Marcus. So this summer we actually signed our second client, and this one actually happens to be in Michigan. But the sustained progress for us is definitely strained our bandwidth that is available between us. And not only do we have to pretty much create everything from scratch between processes, systems, software, and everything else, we also manage the financials, the accounting, and the cash flow management for two companies both doing over $1 million in sales annually. So this has both been a challenging and an exciting experience for us. But the biggest financial challenge that we face is the fact that our company has to be able to sustain the three of us financially in order for all of us to come on board full-time and build a company, which is something that we do envision long-term for us to do full-time. Other than that, we're going to continue going the path that we're heading. And once we actually reach critical mass, we're going to be able to really handle a lot more business than we're able to do now as we all become full-time. So other things that we're trying to do to help us with this is obviously keep our other operating costs low, and also help ourselves work efficiently amongst the three of us, make sure that we do everything efficiently, we spread the workload in an optimal manner, and we have the right tools and systems in place to really allow us to accomplish that. So even though we face the challenge, we also, on the path through the valley of death, have managed to overcome the challenges and hopefully continue to progress forward. So we thank you for the opportunity you've given us to share this, and now back to JJ.
Well, I get the opportunity to introduce Paul Wentz. That's kind of pretty cool.
He's still the emotional part.
It's not really emotional, I can promise you that. So, I guess I can bring this back to my last year of undergrad. So at the conclusion of my last year of undergrad, entering in my first year of graduate school, I was fighting tooth and nail to come up with any little bit of scholarship and financial aid that I could land that would get me to graduate with my master's in accounting debt-free, or as close to it as I possibly could. And I had a scholarship in my undergrad years from Mr. and Mrs. Paul and Mary Glantz through the School of Business. And it was actually expiring during the undergraduate years, and I had asked the School of Business if it would be at all possible if I could get that scholarship applied to my graduate tuition, my graduate semester. And they said, well, really, I don't think there's anything we can do for that. And I said, well, can I call the family and ask if that would be okay? And they said, well, we've never had a student do that before. And I said, well, that's not a big deal. I'll be happy to. So I did. And I called Mr. Glantz, and actually he was on his way back from a funeral. I'm not sure if you remember this conversation, but he was on the way back from a funeral from a close family friend, and we discussed the scholarship, but more importantly, he gave me 30 minutes of his time to a complete stranger, and we just had an awesome and dynamic and unique conversation. And he extended the opportunity to me and said, hey, why don't we just meet together face to face? Why not? Let's do it. So I said, sure, that's absolutely fantastic. And going forward, I look back, and that one conversation has helped carry me so far professionally in my own career pursuits and graduating from Wayne and the launch of M-Squared Financial with Marcus and Max here, and in our pursuits with Blackstone Launchpad, that it's just been absolutely tremendous. So I thank you, Paul. I thank you for that. And without further ado, Mr. Paul Glantz and Aubrey G.
So